giving him pleasure. And if he would not allow it, they would be very, very disappointed. Because they wanted to love him. They wanted to serve him like that. So then Krishna said, okay, I'll do the dance. Let's do it. Let's go. So then Krishna, you know the story, he expanded himself into so many forms, one for each gopi, when they were all dancing together. And each gopi thought, I am dancing with Krishna alone. They couldn't see the other forms of Krishna, only the form of Krishna that was with them. So the dance was going on, and suddenly Radha and Krishna both disappeared. And nobody could see where they had gone. And so at this point, the gopis became very disheartened, and they began to cry because they couldn't give Krishna the pleasure. See? It's not that they were, it's not that they were like us, I wanted Krishna and now I can't have him. No, they weren't like that at all. It wasn't crying based on the frustration of a selfish desire. It was crying based on the frustration of a desire to love, to give pleasure rather than to get pleasure. You see? This whole idea of getting pleasure is really messed up. It's so selfish, it's so narrow, it's so, it doesn't really help anybody. If someone desires that they should get pleasure and they should be the enjoyer, usually winds up with them committing some kind of sinful activity or some kind of offense. Every time. This selfishness, this narrow-mindedness, gimme, gimme, gimme. It's such an ugly thing. Really, it's ugly. But when you see someone who likes to serve, and they like to give, and they like to spread their energy around, and they like to do good for others, this is so refreshing. This is so nice, Of course, the material world is full of selfish people. That's why they're here. They're here because they would create a disturbance in the spiritual world. So Krishna dumps them in the material world. Get out of here, Go mess up the material world. And they do quite a good job. So here they are, all competing with one another for sense gratification. Oh, great. And that's why the world is such a mess. So if we turn this around and we say, no, I am an immortal spirit soul. I'm maintained by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I don't need anything. I don't have to be selfish. See, I don't have to base everything on desire. I could base everything on love and on giving. See? If somebody turns that mentality around, and instead of trying to take pleasure all the time, they try to give pleasure to others, then they become a great personality. And the fame that they get lasts for a long, long time after they disappear from this world. Because it's very, very rare that a person can turn that selfish attitude around and become loving. You see? And of course, the best kind of love is love of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So if we love the Lord, if we do service to Him, not because we get anything back from it, but just because that's what we do. That's who we are. Then the Lord becomes very, very interested in this. You see? When did Krishna reappear to the gopis? After they attained this high state called Mahabhava. When they reached a state, actually a pitch of madness in their love. When their love became so intense that it went beyond the mind, the ability of the mind to even hold it or comprehend it. Then Krishna reappeared again. And he blessed them. Saying, you're my closest friends. You're my confidants. You're my beloveds. You're my lovers. You're my best friends. You're the best devotees. You're the most pleasure-giving devotees that I have. He blessed them very nicely. Because they had, see, Krishna is Rasa Raj. He's the king of rasa, the king of loving affairs. So he created this situation in an attempt to bring the gopis to a higher level of devotional service, and he succeeded. He succeeded. So at one point they were even going crazy. They were going mad. They started saying, "I am Krishna," and they started acting out all of Krishna's pastimes with each other. It was really far out. It's a really incredible scene to read in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So this was so fascinating to Krishna that he couldn't hide anymore. He had to come out and taste this for himself, to take the enjoyment that they were offering to him. You know, and this is Krishna. When our service is mature, when it doesn't contain anything contaminated, anything impure, then Krishna comes and he accepts our service. And that's Krishna Darshan. And we shouldn't think about, when am I going to see Krishna? When is Krishna going to come? No, we should think of, I want to serve Krishna. I want to please Krishna. I want to give something to Krishna. I want to love Krishna. And then when we actually reach that stage, Krishna will automatically appear. But our attention should be on our service.
There's a question from Tiago. Babaji, please accept my humble obeisances. With the goal to have more to donate for the India plan, is it okay to play the downturn in the stock market? It's a kind of speculation, so I'm not sure.
If I was into playing the stock market around the beginning of October or to October 10th, I would go heavily into puts. The danger is that you may not be able to collect your winnings. Because if the market goes completely crazy, they may shut down the market, they may shut down the banks, that's why we're not playing it. I'll be honest with you. I mean, we have some very good advisors now for the market, and they were totally right on about this recent rally. And if we had played this recent rally, we would have made like 2,500 points. Woohoo, that would have been nice. But we're feeling very, we don't trust the guys who run the market, We already found out that they had, for example, right next to the building where the stock market computer is for the New York Stock Exchange, right in the next building, they had Goldman Sachs computer, and with a high-speed link directly into the stock market, and they're running some kind of crazy software that allowed them to make trades quicker than everybody else, and basically, rip them off, yeah. So it's a fixed game. It's not an honest market. There hasn't been an honest market for a very long time. So, yeah, you might be able to win something on the coming drop. I mean, certainly if we had the confidence that we could collect, we would go in big time at the peak, which is probably going to be like around the beginning to mid of September. But we just don't have the confidence that we're going to be able to actually withdraw our money from the stock market, even if we do win. So we're completely out of the market, and we have been for quite some time. I think it was when Uddhava's research uncovered evidence that there was manipulation in the market. We knew about this. We knew something was going on, that there was some kind of heavy-duty software trading making the market impossible to play for most people. We knew about that. I mean, when was that? Back in November? December? Yeah. So as soon as we found that out through our research, we realized that you can't win at this game. these big boys are playing hardball, and they won't let the little guys win. So even if you win, you might lose. I would be very cautious if I were you. And if you do play the dip, get out before it hits bottom. Get out well before it hits bottom, because that's when they're going to start closing the banks, and you won't be able to get your money. So, if you do this, I won't. I'm not going to play it, because I'm playing at this point. We have all of our funds come from other people's money, and I'm not going to risk people's money. It's a little bit too risky right now. Sort of like going in the ocean right before the tidal wave. You better have a good surfboard. Any other questions?